The Rum of the Mist show that you are currently tuned into will begin in about 5 minutes. Until then, enjoy this wonderful tune.
Why does a good man have to die? Another piece of shit to be born. Reasons unheard of tearing my flesh. My heart is ripped, my soul is torn. Does a good man have to die? Another piece of shit to be born. Your soul is pure when your pockets all dry. Our rage is pain in the center of your eye.
You are listening to It Had to Be Said with Venus, presented by Realm of the Mist Entertainment.
Hello and welcome to It Had to Be Said with Venus. We're here tonight with my Co-host Christopher Stolley.
I don't care what you say. If I could use my vagina to become a congresswoman, I'd be as dumb as AOC.
And we've got my lovely guest host, Kara. Blah. I'm already stuttering. It's the strawberries. They're making my mouth all like sticky and whatever, I guess. My wonderful guest host, Kara Alexandra.
And subscribership just went up 100-fold. Sticky mouth with strawberries.
Oh, I could tie a knot in a cherry stem with my tongue, okay? Let's not go there.
I've tried doing that once or twice. Didn't work.
I've got a long tongue, though. Like, I can literally, like, reach up to my nostril with my tongue.
I'd pay to see that.
I'll send you a picture later, and I'll put it on your tab.
Hold on a second. She said she would pay to see that. Guys,
Exactly.
right now, go to the Patreon page of Realm of the Mist Entertainment, give a donation of $25, and Venus will send you a headshot of her touching her nose with her tongue and a pair of her used panties.
I'll even grab that shit.
Oh, yeah.
$10 donation gets a pair of my used panties.
You'll get a lipstick kiss right on the crotch. There you go.
There you go.
No comment.
Oh, great. This is like going the opposite direction of what we were hoping for tonight, but that's okay. So also in the news tonight, we've been using our towels wrong our whole lives.
They're whose?
Our towels?
Oh,
Like after our shower. Yeah. So I always used to believe that you used to have the cute pattern side on the outside, but it turns out that's the softer side that you should probably be wiping yourself with.
I disagree because I've had a couple towels that had those like, embroideries and shit, and they were rougher than all hell.
Yeah, I think I've had a couple
embroidery.
of those too.
Not the embroidery, is like the picture or the pattern or whatever. The other side is like rough as fuck, and I've been using that my whole life, and then the other day I was like tired as fuck, and I'm like, oh, that's how you do it. But it looks prettier the other way.
Well, again, I got to question it. I mean, my girl has a New Kids on the Block towel, and I just don't want Donnie up my ass crack.
Why? Who doesn't want Donnie up their ass crack?
Me! I don't want him up my ass crack.
It's not gay if he's drying your ass and not wetting it.
I mean, he does have a long enough nose to get deep into that crevice, but I mean, come on.
Oh, come on, you're arguing for nothing here. You know what's up.
Girl, you know it's true.
The white stuff.
So, talking about our bad bathroom behaviors, we're going to start off with Cardi B tonight because that bitch is just fucking straight trash.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
Do you actually think that it's true?
Oh, come on. If it's true or not, she's bragging about it. There's men coming up now about it.
Oh.
Like, she's a woman. Just because she's a woman doesn't mean she could get away with it. I mean, that's taking advantage of her own pussy and her position.
Do you think she's R. Kellying it?
I
think she's Cosbying it.
I don't think she's giving golden showers to like fucking, teenage boys or anything, but I mean, it is a double standard that, and of course this is completely different of a scenario, but the one everybody likes to compare to is like Bill Cosby slipping Mickeys and raping women. He goes to jail, like, do not pass go, do not collect $200. She admits to fucking drugging people and robbing them fucking blind and shit, and she's celebrated for her independent woman spirit. Now, yes, rape is worse than robbery, but still, you took somebody's choice out of the equation by drugging them.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's be honest here.
But okay, that they were actually willing.
I'm sure they weren't willing to get robbed.
Yeah, she said that they were willing. I don't know.
If a guy's buying you drinks at a bar, are you willing then? But okay, let's be honest here. So we have Bill Cosby, who decides that he's going to buy girls drinks, drug them, and take advantage of them. Considering he has a penis and physically assaults them, okay, We're gonna say Cardi B, who starts off with buying a guy a drink, drugging his drink, and taking advantage of him, using her pussy, charging them as clients and robbing them. Now, let's just say that given their what they have to work with, it sounds like the same situation. If you want to take away the actual rape, all their victims were taken advantage of.
Absolutely.
Sexually, by being drugged.
Yes.
That was my point, was that, you know, even though rape is obviously worse than robbery in every sense of the word, it's the fact that you're taking away somebody's free will by drugging them to get whatever it is you're trying to get.
Rape used to be called being taken advantage of. So Cardi B took advantage of these men. So how's it any different now?
You know what, though? Like, why is she coming out with this after she wins a Grammy and she's got all these Pepsi commercials coming out and she's signed a deal with, like, Steve Madden shoes? Why is she coming out with this now?
Because celebrities are getting away with everything. She's getting endorsed. She's getting endorsed for her woman feminist spirit in robbing and drugging people. At the same time, we're celebrating idiots like Kyle Kaepernick for disrespecting veterans and the flag.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but at the same time, you know, we have a problem with creepy Joe Biden. Well, we have a problem with creepy Joe Biden. I'm pretty sure he'll get off the hook.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that soon.
Oh, I know, but because he's he's a Democrat and he says all the right things that all these liberal idiots like to hear, he'll get off. He'll get away with it.
Oh, for sure. He is getting off, and he's got Alyssa Milano sitting right next to him, touching his, who knows what she's touching. Or he's touching her. Somebody's touching somebody over there, but apparently Alyssa Milano's best friends with this guy.
Well, you know what? Her and I are about the same age, so it's going to sound a little less creepy when I say this. I've had a crush on her since Who's the Boss.
And now she likes Biden.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I used to have a crush on her since, like, Who's the Boss, until she opened her fucking mouth.
That's it.
And I realized how much of an indoctrinated idiot she is, and now I wouldn't fuck her with, you know, anybody's dick. I wouldn't fuck her with Joe Biden's dick.
I think a lot of boys are saying that right now.
So here's a double standard for both Biden and for Cardi B, actually. And this was on Facebook, and I'm totally using the poster's name because it's just so funny. The Iron Snowflake on Facebook posted that every cable station is talking about Joe Biden's... Oh, fucking Eric. Stop calling us on Messenger, Eric.
We don't do it.
Every cable station is talking about Joe Biden's alleged kiss on the head of a woman, while an admitted pussy grabber who paid off prostitutes sits in the White House eating cheeseburgers. So,
CNN?
like,
let's just compare CNN.
So, we have people that are getting mad because prostitutes are being paid off. Okay, Cardi B was a prostitute, and she's being like praised. And on top of that, Joe, these are two consenting adults. So Trump and Stormy Daniels were two consenting adults. Now, here's the difference about them and Joe Biden. Is Joe Biden is literally groping on little children who are clearly not the age of consent.
No.
Well, so we're prison pedophiles.
Even if they were the age of consent, I mean, we've seen the pictures. People that are obviously 18 or above still don't want creepy Joe's hands on them and his lips on their hair and shit.
I would want his hair. Ugh. No, thank you.
I mean,
wait, is he paying people off? Because that's another thought I have right there. That's criminal.
Well,
grope a little girl is criminal. Like, these parents should be charging this motherfucker. Is he paying their parents off?
Probably.
Or who is?
Well, that's the point. The Democrats are such fucking hypocrites when it comes to this shit. They had a problem with Trump long before he even had aspirations of being a president, of supposedly, allegedly having extramarital affairs with a fucking porn star, and then paid her.
I would.
And then paid her to keep quiet about it, and then of course when he runs for president, that's when she comes out. Oh, he paid me to keep quiet, but he totally had sex with me. And you know, the Democrats are all moral this, moral that. He's immoral. He's immoral. Right. But when it comes to Joe Biden and you know, even going all the way back to fucking everybody Everybody in their Clinton, everybody and their brother knows fucking John F. Kennedy and Marilyn Monroe.
Absolutely. This has been going on for years and years and years. Look at Clinton. Clinton was a Democrat. He had friggin' Monica Lewinsky sucking his dick God knows how long. So you know what? If they want to take it and say that, no, Trump was doing this and Trump was doing that, you know what? Trump owns Miss USA, or sorry, Miss, what is it? Universe. The guy bought Miss Universe. He likes women. Plain and simple.
Or what's wrong with that?
Nothing. Absolutely
most women
nothing.
like men that like women.
Exactly. Why, so
I mean, we
sweet.
all like gay men, but I mean,
Not all
I
of us,
know.
sweetheart.
all women like men,
Sorry.
not
Look,
like women.
I like gay men just fine. I just won't get into a communal shower with them.
Well,
Oh.
I'd rather if I was a man, I'd rather be in a communal shower with a gay man than like if I actually had like a decent looking body, because if I didn't, I would feel like my self-esteem would be like super low, because let's face it, gay men are sexy as fuck. And women can't have them, so that makes it even harder for us when we're like, damn.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I think the only way I would want to be in a fucking communal shower with a bunch of gay dudes is if like the alternative is being a communal shower with all the fucking bold dyke lesbian feminists.
Oh.
See what I'm saying?
It's like, hey, look at my pooper all you want, guys. Come on. I'm not going into that fucking dog pound over there. We can party here. Bring out the sausage.
Absolutely. Totally agree. 100%.
Right?
Hey, if you got
far away.
if you get into a communal shower with the dykes and those feminism, I'm guaranteeing there would be a huge brawl in there. There's no way that they could stay sitting with each other and not killing each other. No way.
I'm sorry. I stepped away from the microphone for a split second to grab something. What was that?
I said that, you know what, I would never want to be in a communal shower with a bunch of feminisms and dykes and weirdos, because you know what, there would probably be some kind of a brawl in there. There's no way that a bunch of women like that could be in a shower together and not start a brawl or an orgy. One of the two.
Or sex fighting brawl.
You know how bad? Okay, I'm a straight cisgender male. So, of course I want this to happen, but just the fact that there's a 50-50 shot of a fucking brawl or an orgy in an all-woman shower, of course I want to be in there. I'll be standing right there with Donald Trump fucking high-fiving saying, which pussy we grabbing?
That's it.
My God.
Oh, no.
Creepy Joe's not invited.
No, definitely not. I'll keep these feminists at least somewhat safe.
He can stay outside and watch.
He can, like, honestly, like, be tied up in a corner and blindfolded. Like, he doesn't need to see shit. He's already fucking fucked up enough. He doesn't deserve the... We're going to keep these feminists safe, and we're putting our foot down now. Joe Biden is not allowed in a feminist shower.
Can we talk about feminists with Joe Biden here for a minute? Why is it when Brett Kavanaugh was being nominated for the Supreme Court, and all these women were accusing him of these inappropriate behaviors, and it was obviously proven that he didn't do it, but you know, the whole entire movement, the feminist movement, was, oh, believe her, always believe her. You're not allowed to not believe a woman. It should automatically be believed when she accuses somebody of this, that, and the other. But then Joe Biden's accusations start coming out. It's, oh, no, let's wait for the evidence. No, that can't be true.
Okay, first off, let's stop right there. We do, like, we're women. Like, I'm sure Kara can agree to this. We don't believe women all the time. No. Women are the most lying, conniving, fucking slutty, that, like, they'll talk bad about your boyfriend and go fucking behind your back type of bitches.
Absolutely.
We're women, and we don't trust women about everything that they say.
Exactly.
Well, that's kind of my point. That's kind of my point. Is like this feminist movement, these liberal mindsets who screamed for months on end that all women should always be believed and all rape accusations should be treated as guilty until proven innocent. Until Joe Biden came out, and there's picture evidence everywhere, and they're like, oh no, we got innocent until proven guilty. That's not Uncle Joe.
Oh,
He
come
is
on.
guilty. Like, the evidence is right there. If you're that fucking blind or that retarded to not see it, sorry, but you have
That's a
issues.
different-
You should have no opinions.
Yeah, and that's a different story altogether because, you know, there are some women out there who are just, they're cheese. Like, they don't care. They'll they're just because they're in a pissed off mood, they're going to blame their stepdad for doing something. Meanwhile, the poor guy goes to jail for life and, you know, he's sitting there going, what the hell, man? This is I didn't do this. But then there are some women that, yeah, they do. This does happen too. And, you know, people, you know, a lot of them don't come forward because they're scared because they think that, you know, people are going to look at them like, you know, I'm a slut. So this guy did this to me because, you know, they're going to think I'm a slut or something. You know what I mean? So there's so many different avenues on this that it's ludicrous. But when there's proof and you see it all over everywhere and everything, obviously it's true. And, you know, you got to believe the woman. But there are a lot of cases where there are women who just, there's a lot of hormonal women out there who want attention.
Right? And what's even worse is how they've, like, ruined the credibility of actual real rape victims.
That's it.
By the way,
It's
ladies, Eric is not to interrupt. Eric is joining us. Finally, we got him in.
Oh, hey, Eric.
Hi.
Eric, meet Kara. Kara, meet Eric.
Hi, Eric.
How are you?
Great.
We're talking about creepy Uncle Joe.
You're not Joe I'm thinking of, right?
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden, not Joe Smith. Although we could talk about him if we really wanted to.
No, please not.
I'm sorry, Carrie. You were saying.
Okay, so speaking of, like, girls pulling shit and whatnot, Kara has a pretty interesting story about these little girls who look up to role models like Cardi B and whatnot, and we wonder why they act like this. So I don't know if you want to share that story.
Sure. So yesterday, a friend of mine, his daughter was beaten up at school, or actually, sorry, not at school, outside of school, because she was a bookworm and she was asked by the popular girls to go to the store with them. She goes to the store. They start shoplifting, and this is at a Sephora store, so, you know, high security and lots of expensive makeup. And she was asked to steal something, and she said no. So outside of the mall, which shall remain nameless, but it's in Woodbridge. I'm sure everybody will know where that is, Woodbridge, Ontario. She got the shit beaten out of her. And this poor little girl's probably about, I would say, 12 years old. And my friend's father just decides to, you know, we started talking on Facebook about it, and he doesn't even know what to do. He's a single father with the mother passed away, and, you know, the girlfriend that he has now can't really say anything because she's just a girlfriend. And what do you do?
Why isn't he charging these little girls?
He's called the school. He spoke to the school, but they basically just got like a little slap on the hand. Meanwhile, they got caught, and they got, you know, their parents got phoned and told that they stole over $200 each worth of makeup.
Holy shit!
Wow.
Isn't that?
And nothing happens to them.
I don't know how Canada is, but here in the States, that's more than enough grounds for the department store or whatever it is that they stole it from to have them arrested.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Not here.
Wow.
They get a call. They get a call from their parents. Get a call from the principal of the school, and they didn't get caught in the store. They got caught afterwards because of the fight. So basically, what happened was because of the most of our kids here, they all wear uniforms now, and I guess whoever caught them knew what school they went to. They called the school because the little girls all ran away. And they got a call from the parents. Got a call from the principal. I think they got suspended, from what I heard. But the point is that the little girl who got beat up, she gets beaten up because she's not popular. B, she is a heavy set girl, and C, she won't do what they said for her to do. How do you handle a situation like that? And these girls are all like Cardi B wannabe.
Well, you're hitting a
this
nail.
is not toxic femininity right there. Like,
You're hitting a nail right on the head. I mean, as a father of a 10-year-old girl, I worry about this every day, especially because she's exposed to this modern culture of pop stars that are looking up to people like the fucking Kardashians. Girls especially nowadays are so materialistic and shallow. It's not even funny, and guys are just as bad anymore. But the modern culture for the woman is disgraceful. And I fear very much about what it creates to these little girls. There's role models like Cardi B, Kim Kardashian, who else?
Amy Schumer.
I don't think I don't think Amy Schumer's a role model to Amy Schumer. Dude, she's
Amy
pregnant.
Schumer's a role model to like. I know she's pregnant. I saw that and I was like, ew,
Somebody
someone
put
had sex with you.
Dick in her. Like this is a girl that even a turkey baster told her not on the first date. I mean,
No.
Look, my point of view on all this is it's peer pressure, but that girl stood up by saying, "No, you're not going to get me to do what you guys doing because you think if I steal, I'm going to become popular." Now that's the question: did she want to be popular or she doesn't? But I'm glad
everybody wants to be popular,
right?
Yeah,
but I'm not blaming. Listen, I'm not blaming her. You know, she got jumped because she didn't do what they asked her to do. That's why she got jumped.
Exactly. Peer pressure.
But here's the deal too. Like, not to interrupt you, Eric, but you're absolutely right. But they wanted her to peer pressure her into doing it to be popular, but she would never be popular for it. She was just going to be a scapegoat and patsy to these girls. They would have used her with the false promise of, "You do this for us, and we'll get you in with the in circle."
Absolutely.
Well, her dad can. I don't know what their policy is over there in Canada, but you know, you can either go after the kid's parents for what they did and sue them.
you can actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I hope her dad does do it because you know what, I would.
So would I.
Yeah, those girls should actually be facing some criminal charge, like getting put in juvenile hall. Would be down here.
That's what I would want.
Yeah.
Forget the money factor. I want to see your ass pay for this, the way criminals pay for things. I don't need to take money away from your mom and dad. I need to see you serve 3 months in juvie hall. You know,
Exactly.
wearing
But
the
these-
skippies and the orange jumpsuit.
But in the States, they have lawsuits, right? Because of the hospital bills and whatnot. So they like sue them for the hospital bills. But in Canada, we don't have that. You can still be criminally charged even at 12 years old. I think 12 years old is when you can be charged as a youth.
Absolutely. Especially for beating, like, they could have killed her.
Like,
What
that's how many girls
happened?
on one girl?
I don't know how many it was, but it was more than 3, apparently.
Well, look, can we address the elephant in the room, the whole entire situation? Like, we did talk about like the current culture and climate that these kids are growing up in, as far as like their the pop culture, what they're exposed to all the time with the music they listen to or the movies they watch, whatever the case may be, does kind of lead towards this. But can we address the elephant in the room too? It's also shit parenting.
Absolutely.
It is parents nowadays are not even paying attention to their kids, whether off the fact whether you have decent parents. Their hands are fucking tied because you can't do anything. What's the rule now? You can't even raise your voice to your kid because that's fucking child abuse.
Absolutely.
So this one time I was at the park and my kids were like 2 and 4 years old and they were going down the slide and whatnot. And these 2 older girls who must have been like 7 or 8 came along and they were biking with their mom. And so my kids are like going down the slide, you know, and these girls come along and start pushing them around and calling them stupid and everything. So my little girl runs away and she goes and sits by herself, like in the sand. What was a gravel sandbox. So I go up to these little girls and I'm like, hey. And they're like, who are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm these stupid kids' mother. I was like, is that your mom over there? They're like, yeah. I was like, yeah, if you don't stop pushing my kids around, I'm going to go beat your mom's ass.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's
You can't hit the kid.
Hit the mother.
And the mom's right there. The mom's right there, not paying attention to her kids. Like, yeah, sorry, but woman, you're going to get your fucking ass beat.
She was
like,
probably on Facebook on her cell phone or talking to her boyfriend or something or texting her. Who knows? They don't pay attention to their kids anymore.
Exactly. So when one mom gets like punched out by another mom and wonders why, it's because your kid's an asshole.
And what did you say yesterday? Those kids probably never got hugged.
Yeah, it's true. Like my daughter like even asked me like, Mom, why do they act like that? I'm like, well, because their mom probably doesn't love them, and she probably doesn't hug them.
No, and that's the problem. But you know what? Like parents are going like parents of some of these kids, like not all parents, because it's not all parents' fault. Some people have to work and they don't have time and this and that. But there's some people out there that they don't pay attention to their kids because they're constantly, I see, walking through the mall a couple days ago, I'm watching all these mothers with their kids and stuff like that. The kids are just running rabid all over the mall, and they're sitting there and they're on their cell phone while their kids like in some store knocking shit over, and like nobody pays attention anymore. And it's like, what the hell happened? When I was a kid, if I was out of my mother's sight, my mom would come and get me and knock the shit out of me and tell me if I ever left her side again, she's never taking me anywhere and I'm grounded forever. I don't know what happened.
I'm that type of mom, but then I get told, oh, you're a controlling mom. Well, I'm a controlling mom. Like, would you prefer my kids going and bullying your kids? Because that's what your kids do. Miss, I let my kids do whatever the fuck they goddamn well please.
Hey, look,
absolutely.
Hey, look, I'd rather fucking have my kids pissed off at me because I didn't let them get their way, or I smacked their bottom, or I stood them in a corner, than have to go visit them in a fucking jail every other fucking month.
Absolutely.
I don't even have to hit my kids. Like, I think my kids probably got like maybe one good smack each, but it's because they're like doing something that could literally fucking kill them. Like there they are like on the side of the street corner and they go running across the street in traffic, and it's like, wow, you like grab my kid and like smack, and they're crying and everything. It's like, you could have fucking died, okay? If that butt smack hurts, you could have been a fucking pancake on the street.
Exactly.
Now, see, Eric, I'm gonna get you involved in this conversation. What would your parents have done to you if you had remotely acted like what these girls did to this poor girl?
I'd be grounded for 6 months in the house. No. Everything like that I enjoy, I had to give up. So
there's a reason. There's a reason I ask Eric this, because Eric, for those that don't know, Eric is Puerto Rican, and for those that don't know Puerto Rican households, the mother is a firecracker when it comes to being pissed off. So
yeah.
Well, let me just tell you something, because I lived a good amount of my time with my grandparents. They're from the homeland. So they wanted me, if I got done with school and I went out, they wanted me to come home at 6 o'clock at night. That was their curfew. And I tried to say, well, I'm 17. I should be able to go. But I got to stay out till about 9 o'clock. But I always respect when I came in. You always got, there were strict things. I had to brush my teeth, I had to take my shower. I tried to get out of doing that. I said, can I take it tomorrow? They said, no, tonight. All right. So, you couldn't get anything over my grandmom and grandpa. That's all I got to say.
That's absolutely like when you mentioned that your grandparents and they had that 6 o'clock curfew to you. I remember up until I was like maybe 16 years old, if I wanted to go ride my bike around the neighborhood, my grandmother would let me do it, but I had to come be physically in the house every half hour just to check in. If I missed a 30-minute check-in, if I missed by 5 minutes, I was in for a fucking week.
That's it.
I can tell you right now, there's one time I was about a little younger than 17, but I went to my nanny's house in Jersey, And my Uncle Dennis said, if I go outside, I had to let him know where I'm going. I didn't go back to the house to tell him where I was going. And I was over some kid's house for 3 hours. He actually walked the complex looking for me and called my name. And let me just tell you something. I never, ever in my lifetime again want to get beat with the cat of nine tails.
Oh, Jesus, you got the cat of nine tails?
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Oh, God. See?
My mom did that too. Like, and we used to, so up until I was about 9 years old, I used to live in, like, near Toronto, and then my mom moved us up into the bush when her and my dad had a separation. And then she starts going crazy because, like, my grandma was, like, this control freak who used to, like, beat the kids, beat the kids, beat the kids. And, like, my whole, like, her whole family was like that. So my mom went from, like, this nice mom who's like, you know what, you're allowed to go out and hang out around the block. You can go hang with your friends. Like, we had the freedom to, like, go walk 2 blocks to the candy store at, like, 6 years old. And then we end up, like, in the middle of the bush with nowhere to go, nothing to do. And, like, we have, like, my grandma who's, like, this complete psychopath, like, constantly yelling at us and everything, calling me a slut when I was, like, 10 years old. And I'm like, you're a fucking slut. And my mom turns around and hits me with a cattail. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm your daughter. You're supposed to be protecting me. And this woman is being rude to me and, like, doing whatever, you know, bringing down my self-esteem. I'm a teenager. You're my mother. You're supposed to protect me. And you know what? Tell her to quit it. She could call me other things. She could tell me I'm stupid, but here she is, and I'm a slut. Because I'm starting to hit puberty and whatnot. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people? And honestly, the fucking cat willows and the fucking wooden spoon and everything came out, and it's like, wow, what the fuck, Mom?
Oh, I got that wooden spoon, and it hurt like a son of a bitch.
I'll tell you.
Oh, red willows too. Those were the worst.
Well, no. My grandfather got me sitting next to his spot on the kitchen table, hanging on a closet right behind his chair. Was a car fan belt. I felt that twice in my life. Why twice? Because I wasn't dumb enough to make it 3 times. Okay. But Eric will understand this. I grew up in Philadelphia. So, and I grew up with an old school family. So it wasn't just my family, my mother, my grandmother, my grandfather. I had to worry about beating my ass. The neighborhood had permission to whoop my ass if I acted out of line. Everybody in the damn neighborhood who knew my family knew who I was, and if I was acting a fool, they had permission to come out of their house and whoop my ass like I was their child.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh yeah, you know, it was very hard to get away with shit in my neighborhood growing up because of the fact that everybody knew who the hell I was, not because I was some popular kid or whatever, but because, you know, my grandparents turned around and put the word out. If you see him acting up, you whoop his ass and you bring him home.
See, like my neighborhood used to be like that too, like near Toronto. But we had like a whole complex, like a whole block, and it was like a house with kids, you know, and just adults, and then kids, and then kids. Like there's so many kids that live there. So if any adult, like with kids, like because it's their kids too that are gonna get in shit. If they see another kid doing something, they're gonna go with them too. So it's like, okay, we have this like parent watch system that's like watching for all the kids. Like, hey, don't be doing that, you little fucking. And yeah, like this was like the early 90s with Beavis and Butthead coming out, and oh my god, and what was it, D-Generation X, so everyone's running around like suck it to the adults and stuff. Like we were bad at times, but like
Right.
I find some parents overreact like with kids. So like my daughter was 3 years old one time, and my mom was sitting there, like my daughter was drawing, and my mom's like, okay, I need you to help me with something. So my daughter's like, okay. And she's sitting there picking up all her crayons and putting them away because, like, that's what I taught her to do. And my mom started yelling at her. So my 3-year-old looks at her and calls her a bitch. And I get a phone call, like, at work because my mom was babysitting. She's like, your daughter, blah, 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 blah. Freaking right out. And I'm like, okay, let me talk to my daughter. So I'm like, Charlie, did you call grandma a bitch? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, well, why? And she's like, because she was yelling at me and I was trying to put my crayons away. So I'm like, okay, well, you're not supposed to call grandma a bitch, but let me talk to grandma. And I'm like, she's 3 years old, woman. Like, you need to have a bit more patience with this little girl. Like, she's doing what she's supposed to be doing. If it's not quick enough, then you help her put her crayons away. But that's what she's supposed to be doing. So it's unfortunate she called you a bitch, but really she didn't deserve to be yelled at. And my mom just lost her shit.
Well, see, you're putting something into my head now. Like you said, with this show specifically, we talk about things that need to be said. Something that really grinds my fucking gears, and you see it more often today than anywhere else, is these parents who want to tell you how much of a shit parent you are with your kid when you see them and they don't do shit for their kid. When they're telling you know the type. Oh, you need to get your little hellion under control. And meanwhile, their kid's fucking like pulling wings off a fly and throwing them at the fucking, the retarded kid across
Setting
the
them
street.
on fire.
Setting them on fire and shit. But they're calling you a bad parent because your kid sneezed without covering his mouth.
Yeah, kids need patience. Like, you need to have patience with kids. And, like, when they're doing something wrong, correct them. But if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, because that's what their parents want them to do, then, like, other people should be respecting that, too. Like, let the 3-year-old put her crayons away. She has to learn how to pick up after herself. If she doesn't work on demand, she is 3, she's going to be slower, she's going to take her time to do it a little bit more. If you're that impatient, then just go do it by yourself.
That's for sure. Wait until she's 15 and she starts smacking her out because of her yelling not to do this and not to do that. And then they wonder.
You still there? Is everybody still with me? There we are. We had a hiccup there. I missed that statement.
No, I was just saying, like, especially with little girls, like, people wonder why we're so hormonal when we're teenagers, because you know what? We don't know what the hell we're doing. Either we're doing something good or something bad. Yes, we have so many other influences in our lives, like friends, parents. Who's right? Who's wrong? I came from a very European background. My mom was Polish, and she was born in Russia. And my dad's Irish. My dad was Irish. He's passed away now. But, in my family, it was two different stories. My mom was the, when she got mad at you, she didn't talk to you or she wouldn't feed you. My dad, when he got mad, he'd come chase you with a belt or with a wooden spoon. So it was like very confusing growing up. Like, am I going to get hit? And is somebody not going to talk to me? Am I doing something right? And, it was hard because, they were fighting with each other over me. And it's like, when I got to be older, I kind of realized that the reason why was because they just weren't co-parenting properly. One of them wanted me to do this. One of them wanted me to do that. They would yell at each other when they were, if my mom was yelling at me, my dad would yell at her. Why are you yelling at her for? And it was very confusing. And I was not the greatest child. I would run away from my house every other week with my dog and my suitcase, and my dad would come chasing after me, and my mom would just be sitting there. And it's like, oh, well, different, very different. So you grow up a little bit confused, like what's right and what's wrong. But I mean,
right. And I had to say something. Like you had both your parents, each with their side. Okay, what I tried to do is. With my oldest, now he's 18, but what he'd like to do was called plagiarism. He would try to play one parent against the other. So if I tell him no to something, he'll turn around and ask her.
He would say yes.
Yeah, he tries to play one against the other. So like the thing is nowadays, I understand it's hard for my kids because being a diabetic, I have certain snacks that I can only have. Now, what gets me mad is when they're eating my snacks that I can have. And
then you have no snacks.
Right. So that's why we plan on getting a cabinet for the bedroom with a lock on it, and I'm getting a refrigerator. So
that's it. Perfect.
Well, it's, like with my two kids, I'm glad like me and their dad could see eye to eye. Like we're not going to yell at our kids. Like like when we're frustrated or something, it's bound to happen. We're not going to yell at our kids, which he actually does a lot now. Like it is unbelievable. Like since we've broken up and everything, he's with his new girlfriend who's on hydromorphs. And he's probably doing them too, because who doesn't do drugs when someone else, when your boyfriend or girlfriend is doing them, right? So let's just jump to conclusions here. But I'm guessing it's when they're like coming down, or they're like crying for their shit, that they yell more. But she apparently, like, my daughter said that she yells at her kids all the time, and her kids have like ADHD and like learning disabilities and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm telling my daughter, I'm like, well, what do you expect when they're not getting the love that they need? They're going to act bad. And she's like, yeah, you're right. And he's yelling at her now, and she she's living with him. Like, I'm moved away, and she wanted to stay with him. And we had a bunch of discussions, and we talked about it, and that she decided that was best for her. And she is 9 years old. So I said, okay, you know what? You're old enough to decide. She said that she didn't want me to go to court over it and fight her dad or anything. So I said, okay, I'll respect your wishes. You're responsible enough. You can stay here. So now she's saying that she wants to come visit me, and her dad is straight up yelling at her and making her cry, saying that he's telling her, fine, go. But if you love me, you'll stay. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, that's wrong thing to say. These kids do not need to be threatened with that kind of saying.
They don't. Like, they should be supported. Like, if you want to live with your mom for a year, go ahead. Like, what the fuck does it matter to you if your daughter wants to go live with her mom for a year?
He'll always be her dad.
Yeah, he's always going to be in the picture. Like, I have an 11-year-old son. And he keeps saying every time he's at my house, he can't wait till he turns 13 because he wants to come live with his dad.
That's the age they can decide that?
Yeah, 13.
Okay, yeah, because she'll be 10 this year, and she wants to make it her choice, which I respect, because, like, she's not a stupid child. She's very smart. She should actually be moved up in a grade in her school, and her dad won't do it. He refuses to do it. So I'm like, if you move here, you're going to get that. I'm like, your dad says no, but your dad's there. You're going to get moved up in a grade. You're going to be given more opportunities to do more stuff. Like, it's up to you. I want you to think about it. Like, she'll be here for the summer. I'm like, I want you to think about it while you're here. If you want to go back to your dad's, you'll have all the blessings you want. I support you. And if you want to stay here, we'll figure out a way to let you stay here. And she's like, okay, happy. And like, she was crying, telling me all this. And I'm like, I can't believe I let my daughter stay with an abusive piece of shit like that.
But it was her choice, and you gave her that choice, so that's not that bad, right? Like, she tried it, she doesn't like it, now it's time to be with mommy.
I just have to interject because I definitely want to talk about this because I'm going through that situation as well. But before we do, in about 10 minutes, we're going to be taking our commercial break, and I'm assuming, Kara, at that point, we'll probably be losing you because you only could do an hour tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, for the second half of the show, we're going to have the Wayward Son return. Brian Miller just said he'll jump on.
Okay, cool.
All right, but the way in I wanted to throw in here is, I mean, I'm a divorced father too. Eric knows this. He knows my story and everything. I don't need to go into detail. I don't need to go into detail about this. But my kids, and he's heard this physically himself, say it on a regular basis. They want to live with daddy. So I'm kind of at the same aspect as like EJ is with Eric. His son with him, is that we're waiting for the day that the courts will listen to them when they turn around and say, I want to live with my father.
Yeah. See, I was thinking, like, and you could call it a sneak if you want or whatever, but like I said, like, I'm trying to respect her wishes and stuff. She didn't want me to bring this to court. She didn't want me to do anything else. She wanted to stay with her friend. She was in ice skating, which she was doing really good at. She's dropped out of ice skating now. She doesn't even go to that. And the reason behind that was that her, the person that was supposed to train her didn't train her to do a solo show for her upcoming event. So I was like, you know what? I don't blame you for. She thought I would be mad about it, and I'm like, you know what? I don't blame you for dropping out. Like, I'd be pissed too. But now she's doing like a bunch of other things, and she actually has an Instagram account now.
Oh Lord.
That but I like her dad. Her dad didn't let her. Well, he let her have this. She hacked his profile. Like, she's very smart, okay? She hacked his profile. She made it her. She had an Instagram account. She made it her Instagram account. And I'm telling him that if she wants to use Instagram, I'll let her do it because, she likes looking at her mommy's pictures. She likes her mom commenting on her pictures and stuff. I'm like, look, her profile needs to be private, so not everyone can see her profile. She has to accept requests from people, so it could be her friends and her family. And like he had like 120 people following him on Instagram. I'm like, and all these motherfuckers got to go. And he's like, well, I don't know how. I'm like,
boy.
are you fucking kidding me? So you let my daughter unsafely and unsupervised play on all these things where she could be put in harm's way. I'm like, are you fucking serious right now? So we had to spend the whole day. I taught her how to use Instagram, how to put her profile private, block all these people, how to accept people and whatnot. So I could snoop up on her too and see who was on her friends list.
See,
Because her dad.
I'm dealing with that right now too, because my daughter, my 10-year-old daughter, has a fake Facebook account that she contacts me on through private messenger. Now the problem is I don't necessarily care that she has an assumed name with no pictures of her. But the thing is I come to find out that this isn't even my daughter's account; it's her mother's alternate account. Now, what bothers me about this is that my 10-year-old daughter uses this account, but it's set up like an adult female controls this account. There's fucking sex memes and shit like that on here. That when my daughter first started contacting me on this account, I was questioning who the fuck this was. And
don't let your kids do this.
And what concerns me about this is not only is this is her alternate account. What kind of dirty shit is she doing on this account? But, which again, Eric knows my ex. He knows what I'm talking about. But how many times is some dirtball going to be contacting, making some sexual reference, or sending a dick pic, and my 10-year-old is using that account?
Like, I don't understand why parents let kids use this. Like, if you're going to, like, her dad let her use it. So it's not like I could go there and be like, no, you can't have this, and, step in. It's like, fine, you know what? Your dad let you have it. He can at least let you use it safely, which he doesn't understand. I don't know how to use it. Are you kidding me? Are you a fucking illiterate, degenerate, fucking 12-year-old child? She is 10, and it took 2 seconds to say, click on this, and then you can remove that person from your friends list. Go here and make it private. At least make it safe, because if he's letting you have it, you better be using it responsibly, and I won't have a problem with it. And you better be respectful with it. So that means follow the rules.
He should be monitoring it too. No. And if he knows how to set it up, he should know how to use it. And if he's going to let her use it, he's got to know how to make sure that she's safe on it, because God knows how many trolls are out there. I think I just posted something like that today, actually, about all these idiots contacting me on Facebook, and I'm like, I'm a grown woman, and I've got these guys sending dick pics and all kinds of shit on Facebook. I can just imagine little girls, like how many pedophiles are out there, looking to get in this, pretending to be, women or little girls, and they're actually really like 80-year-old men sitting on their couch jerking off to these pictures. Like, fuck, come on, man. Like, that stuff makes me sick just to even think about it.
On Instagram, it's not that bad, but like when you have people you don't know following you, and it's like, no, look, like these people could be bad and stuff. And like she kept 15 people on her list out of 120, which are mostly like her cousins and her aunts, and her friend's mom and stuff, which is fine. And I'm looking through it, and I'm like, well, this guy. And I named this guy. I'm like, you need to remove him. And she's like, okay, removes him right away. And I'm like, okay, at least you're smart enough to like look up for your own safety and like respect your mom. She's like, I just thought you'd be mad at me. And I'm like, no, I just want you to be responsible.
Absolutely.
So
but you know what? Like,
what were you about to say?
Look at that. My son's 11. He has a cell phone. And one thing I say to him every time, when you're talking to your girls in your class, it's like, I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is when you close them down so that I can't see who you're talking to. I was like, if you want me to trust you and allow you to keep using the phone, then I got to know who you're talking to. Because when the kids play games, like the video games, they go on the internet, they're playing with people. But how do we know they're not playing with a pedophile?
You know what? You know what? You're not wrong, because my daughter has a tab, and my son have a tablet that I keep here with me. But I let them play, watch shit on YouTube, and I let them play like the little tablet games and stuff of that nature on that tablet when they're with me. And the rule is Dad has access to look at it at any point. And the reason of being is because I don't look. I don't need to. But the first time I pretend like I'm going to, because the first time they try to block me from it is when I know they're doing something wrong.
Yeah, well, it's not that hard on Instagram to see. Like for my daughter, I could see who she follows. I could see who follows her. I sent her a bunch of like earth pic, like nature stuff she can follow and everything. But you know what? She's like so happy that she got the respect from her mom when her dad doesn't give a shit.
I mean, I'm glad my son told me who the people was, but still, I was like, "That's a girl in your class." He's like, "Yeah, Dad." I was like, "Don't block them from me." I was like, "I like to know who you're talking to." I was like, "I don't care if they're your age." I mean, that's what I tell people all the time. You have your console to play on. See, I socialize with people that are my age, like Chris. We all have game consoles. But the one thing I worry about with the little kids is when they play these Fortnite. And what the kids need to understand is there's people out there with the software that can disguise their voice. That when they talk to a mic, they can sound like a little kid.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's what I worry about is that could happen. I mean,
and then they become friends.
Right.
Yes.
I was like, I gotta know what you're doing. He's like, Dad, because I'm on my, I had an Xbox One at one time, and I'm playing a game, and all of a sudden, all these little kids are commenting. I'm like, "Hey, you want to play?" And I'm like, "Who are you?" Is this Eric Jr.? I was like, or EJ? I was like, "No, this is his dad." I was like, "Listen, when EJ's on, he has his own game console. Hit him up on his game tag. I'm taking off my list. I don't like that. I just have a big thing about little kids contacting adults, period.
Yeah, but
Or vice versa.
Yeah,
it's good to have
especially
safe
vice
adults
versa.
you can talk to, though, like your aunts, your uncles, or it's a good friend of your mom's. Like if my daughter wanted to add Kara to Instagram, I'd be like, okay, no problem. Like I know Kara's safe, and I know that if she wants, like if my daughter wants to talk to Kara, like Kara's a full-grown woman,
Yeah.
like it's always nice to have like as little girls, nice like good females that you can have to talk to, like, and that aren't even your mom, and that could be like a third person, if you're having a breakdown with your mom or a fight with your mom, and just be like, she's being a bitch. It's nice to have that. Like I got that with my aunts and my mom.
It's sometimes you butt heads, but I got boys, so we butt heads a lot. I mean, I think someone said it once to me, and this is my stepdad quote, unquote, what he said to me. Because I can't wait for the day when you have a son. He's like, because you are going to have argument with him, and you're going to say you're arguing with yourself. And Dutch and I called my stepfather up. I said, Dad? He's like, what? I was like, I had an argument with myself today. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, EJ and I had an argument. He's like, see what I was talking about? It's like, I said, yeah. He's like a spitting image. Oh, dude, when we go at it, it's like nonsense. It's like, you got to take a step back. Like, wait a minute, I am arguing with a 11-year-old kid.
I
like that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I like that. Like my 11-year-old, well, she's 9 years old. She's like so intelligent and stuff. Like when we argue, it's like an adult conversation. Like, I don't like the way that you're doing this. And it's like, well, and it goes on and on and on. And I'm like, oh my God, you're like this little thing, this little 4 foot tall little thing that you can actually conversate with. And you get like, she gets frustrated sometimes, which is good because it challenges her intellectually. But she can honestly hold a conversation. She can straight up like say how she feels. She can be respectful towards people, and I'm like, that's my daughter.
That's it.
I have a 22-year-old going on 23 in a couple months. But back when he was 13 years old, he caused me to call my mother to apologize.
Oh, wow.
I'll explain. I'll explain. He went to school and he took his skateboard to school. And of course, you're not supposed to take your skateboard to school, but he did. And he wound up getting it taken from him by a bully who was playing keep away and shit like that. And he turned around and he was trying to get it back, and he was getting all pissed off and trying to throw down and stand up to the bully to get his skateboard back. And he wound up like throwing a punch, completely missing, falling out of his skater sneakers into the mud from throwing this wild punch. And of course he got in trouble in school and shit. And this got brought to my attention. His mother brought it to my attention, and I looked him in the eye, and I had to fight so hard not to laugh at him, half covered in mud. Yelling at him about taking the skateboard to school and never throw the first punch and blah 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 blah. And after I got done, I literally turned around and tears in my eyes, laughing so hard. And by the time I got home, I grabbed my phone, I called my mother, and I said, "You know what? I finally get it. And I'm so sorry." How many times did I put you in that exact same situation where you just want to laugh at my dumb ass, but you had to be the strict one,
Right? Oh god, I can't help the laughing. It's like, if you want to do that something that dumb and me laughing at my kids, it's probably like the worst punishment for them, because it's like, my mom's not even mad. She's laughing at me because I was that stupid, and like my daughter takes that to heart.
You know what? My mom did the same thing to me when I was stupid, just doing stupid stuff, and my mom would sit there and laugh, and I would always wonder, why is she laughing and not trying to kill me right now? Now I know why.
You punished yourself. That's all I gotta say.
I was just about to say that, because you know what? It's our parents want us to learn. They guide us in the right direction, but they say, "I'm going to let you make some mistakes. I'm going to see how you learn from it." Like I said, I called my stepdad up, and I stood there and had that conversation. I said, "Dad, I hate to say it, like, I'm arguing with myself." He's like, "Now you know what I was talking about when I was arguing with you?" I was like, "Yeah, I see your point now." Like, we're not even having a winner loser kind of conversation. It's all cutthroat with each other. We're going back and forth, and we're getting heated. But I was like, you know what? I'm done. I just walk away. And I was like, 'cause you know what? You guys are kids. I'm an adult. I was like, I have done things what you going to try to get away with. I was like, I already did that stuff, so don't try to be sneaky. Like, I had stepkids, and they used to ask me, like, how did you get away with stuff when you're little? I said, why would I tell you my tricks of the trade and when I was getting away with stuff? Because then what? Guys want to try it? I was like, because I already know what you're going to try to do to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could definitely get into that, but Venus, just to let you know, we are at the hour mark.
Yeah, we'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with Brian Miller. And salutations to Kara Alexandra.
Thank you.
Do you want any stalkers on
joining
Facebook or anything? You want to let anybody know how to contact you if they want to ask you any questions?
Sure. Contact me at Kara Alexandra. And any questions, any concerns, I'm out there. Thank you guys very much. It's been a blast.
Thank you for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you come
I
back.
did. I will. Thank you.
Perfect. Have a good one. Bye.
You too. Bye.
And we'll be right back after these few words.
Why didn't the Three Little Pigs go in for some kind of flat share scheme?
Does Jesus get to choose which wine he turns it into?
Why don't Sims have a body strength to climb out of a swimming pool?
And does everybody really want to be a cat?
I'm Will Bay.
And I'm
And if you're the type of person that overthinks these deep philosophical questions, then Think to the Brink is the podcast for you.
From Disney characters to song lyrics, debates to social etiquette, tune in every week for your dose of paralysis by analysis.
All topic suggestions are welcome. If you can think it, we can overthink it. Think to the Brink. Available on all podcast platforms.
Hey everyone, this is John Tolley, inviting you to check out more of the Star Wars podcast. Each week, I'm host Christopher Stolley discuss the news and surrounding one of the brand movie franchises in the world. This every Wednesday at 8 Eastern, as children see far, far away, and wherever fine podcasts are heard.
You know, when you need CD, juice, or new mod, go to Vape Scorpion. 10859 Boston Avenue, Philadelphia, PA 19116. They are formerly known as East Coast Vapor. They have all your needs, all the equipment, all the juice. And hey, while you're there, sit down, enjoy a beer, bring your hands with a bunch of cool people. So if you need your next vape machine, or maybe you just want to try a locally made juice, make sure you hit up Vape Scorpion. That's 1085 Boston Avenue, Philadelphia, PA 9116. Or give a call to 215-464-8273. Oh yeah, and make sure you let them know that Realm of the Mist Entertainment sent you.
He said that she said, how dare you say that? That's offensive. Well, someone's gotta say it. It has to be said with the between 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Check out the recordings at any time. Guest host, wait. Listener, beware. Mature content, sexual content, trigger warning. Do you dare say it?
Hey, my name's Chris. I'm here to tell you about this podcast. Realm of the Mist, all the great entertainment from movies, music, comic books, and many other forms of entertainment, as well as current events and just general happening. If you're looking for a podcast right here out, look no further than Realm of the Mist Podcast. Here, Anchor FM, or where podcast.
Hi, this is Dave from the Comic Collection at 83 Bustleton Pike in Feasterville, Pennsylvania. Our phone number is 215-357-3332. We are right next to North Philadelphia. We have action figures, gaming, statues, albums, and CDs, graphic novels, other knickknacks, and, of course, comics. Established in 1985, we are your go-to store. Come by and say hello, and say that the guys from Radiocast FM Radio sent you. The address again is 83 Bustleton Pike, Feasterville, Pennsylvania, or call 215-357-3332.
Three turtle? Is that all right?
Fucking a
Are you tired of the same old podcast with no? Well, join us for After Hours, where at least on Anchor.fm and one podcast.
How the fuck on this?
I don't know.
DC starts. It's their fucking fault.
Everyone, this is what
we are a podcast.
Whoa. Maybe you're buying straight and strong.
It means it's a week.
Oh, yeah. Listen to us. On Wednesdays, we talk about gay stuff, show sections.
Feed Peep Friday review the Feed Peep of the week. The CS cast, the dude in pajamas.
Apple Spot, YouTube, and anywhere else. Talk.
Eat humor, things get hurt, and it.
Welcome back, guys. Give me a moment here. We're having another technical difficulty for no reason. We will be back with Venus here shortly. So, till we have everything up and running again, guys, let me just go ahead and put you back on the starting in, and we will be back soon. The Realm of the Mist show that you are currently tuned into will begin. Until then, enjoy this wonderful tune.
And welcome back to Allowed to Be Said with Venus. And we're here with Christopher Stolle, Eric Batista. Is that how you say it?
Batista. You're good. It's good. It's
okay. And Brian Miller's on with us now.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, how's it going?
The prodigal son returns.
I'm alive. That's about all I can say at this point, yeah.
Well, you missed it, man. We were talking about like getting beat as children by our parents and how kids need that nowadays. And we were talking about creepy Uncle Joe and snatchy, nasty Cardi B.
Oh, okay. Miss McWhore's a lot. Got it.
Okay.
It's actually funny. This strip club in North Bay, Canada, actually has it posted up on their sign, Fanny's. Yes, we do take spawners, JP. Yeah, they have it up on their sign. No, have no fear, Cardi B is not here.
Why not capitalize on it?
Right?
Oh, good Lord.
That's funny.
It is.
But you know, getting back to the stories, I knew when Brian said he wanted to be in this, and we were in that conversation about like strict parents and what our parents would do to us when your friend was talking about like that girl who got beat up by all the other girls and peer pressure. I'm like, and don't take this the wrong way, Brian, but knowing your family history, I was like, this motherfucker's got plenty to say. Oh, yeah, we're getting him in on this conversation.
I still have flashbacks to hearing that belt pop through those belt loops real quick.
See, isn't there like do you guys find there's like a difference between like disciplining your child and, you know, like getting the occasional smack? Like, you know, like I'm sure like most of us can vouch that when we got an ass whooping, we probably deserved it. But isn't there like a point where there's also like an abusive power as a parent when they go overboard with the ass whoopings and, you know, it's not one smack now, it's like 25 smacks, or like, you know, grabbing a child and ripping them around and, you know, yelling at them and just being a ferocious fucking parent as compared to being a disciplinary parent?
Me, the line is closed fist. If you smack your kid across the face because they cursed at you, that's one thing. You turn around and sucker punch your kid, that's abuse. You know, if you put your kid over your knee and you fucking whoop his ass, give him 4 or 5 good smacks or a belt, which is more sound than really pain. It's more of a shock pain than actual, you know, abuse pain. Then that's discipline. Whipping your kid around, 9 times out of 10 people who are whipping their kid around is because the kid's trying to get out of the grasp. It looks like whipping, but it's the kid trying to fight out of the grip.
See, like when I was like 3 years old, and I actually remember this from when I was like 3 years old, my mom had she wasn't disciplinary. Like I was talking about like with like her bringing back this, like taking out the switch and stuff when she was around my grandmother. But she was honestly like crazily abusive, like 3 years old, and grabbing like me by the arm and ripping me back and forth and screaming at me, her screaming at me that I ruined her life at 3 years old.
But at the same time, like that may be a little excessive, might have had a little bit of anger issues, but you think about the old school mentalities of like grandparents and stuff of that nature, like Eric was saying with his grandparents, or, you know, me being raised by my grandparents. You think about when they were kids and they were raised like that, think of what the crime rate was like. Think about what the high school dropouts and the teen pregnancies was like back then. They were damn near non-existent. You know why? Because their kids were fucking disciplined.
Yeah.
They had fear of authority.
He's like, go ahead, Eric.
My grandparents, they were in Puerto Rico, and their parents were strict. They had certain guidelines that those kids had to follow. Like over there, when it got dark, they didn't have street lights. They knew they had to get their asses home. You know? Like when we were young, what did our parents tell us? When that street light comes on, what are we supposed to do? Get home.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I didn't own a watch. I had a street light.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't really have that either, because like we had like a roundabout complex, so it was like all houses in a circle with like a big field. like where all the kids could play in. So you're pretty much encased in there. So kids, like, we could still be out after dark. But, you know, like, we're literally like a house down from our house, like in the backyard where we're all like sealed in and we're playing with the other kids whose parents are watching, you know, taking their turns looking and stuff like that. Like when it, like, and that was like around like fall time when it got like dark around like 6:30 or something. Like we would still be outside playing, and it was always get outside and go play, get outside and go play. No supervision, no nothing, just go play. No kids in the house. We're doing adult stuff, which my parents were like Mormon and religious, so their adult stuff was probably watching like a Ben-Hur movie or something. But yeah, they would just kick us outside, and that would be that.
I remember when I was a kid, there was this one like epic, like burned in your brain ass whooping that I got, and you know, most kids are like, oh, I didn't even do anything wrong. We literally didn't do anything wrong. We were at my great grandparents' house, and I was maybe 10, and all my cousins were there, and you know, very rare. I think that was one of the only two times that all my cousins were in the same place at the same time. The other time was when my grandfather died, but and it was kind of the first time we were all there together. So we were kind of laughing and joking in the bedroom where we were sleeping on the floor, and we kept giggling a little bit. And I think it was one of my uncles came in and said, y'all better be quiet or we're going to come in here and we're going to make y'all seriously lay down and go to bed. We're going to get really upset with you. We're like, all right, cool. So they leave and we're still laughing and joking. My dad comes in. And my dad was one, you don't piss the man off. It was, if he says no, there's no going to mom, you know? And he comes in there, y'all shut the fuck up or I'm going to beat every single one of y'all's asses. I don't care whose kid you are. So he leaves the room, and we're all kind of laughing and joking. And there was a clothes rack in the corner of the room that had some coats on it and stuff. And we were all sitting there, and I swear to God, this is what happened. We're sitting there, and we start laughing and be like, oh, man, they think we're making so much noise. And it would be funny if that clothes rack just fell. Like, if it just fell out of nowhere and hit the floor real loud and then, you know, and all this stuff. And we're sitting there talking about it, and it was like a sign from God. You hear, and we look over, and this thing is just slowly starting to tilt to the side, and we're like, there's no fucking way. And this thing just falls down and clatters, and we're just, oh my God. And all you hear is boom, 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 boom down the hallway. Door gets kicked open, and then like 3 belts coming out of belt loops. Every single one of us got fucking lashings. And the whole time we're like, we didn't fucking do it. We swear to God it wasn't us. Like, it was. And we tried telling them what happened, and our parents were like, oh yeah, right. Like, it just fell over on its own.
There's demons in the house.
See, I don't even have that option. I was an only child growing up. My father passed away when I was 6 months old. You know, I got blamed for shit my grandfather did. My grandfather broke a lamp, and I took an ass beating for it.
Poor like bad grandpa. I had this one uncle. Oh my God, he was the greatest. He was like, he was straight up like redneck and bush as fuck. And like, he didn't give a fuck about anything, like nothing at all. And so one time me and my cousin were at his place, and like, this was the type of family that like people would be like, oh, you're related to them, and I'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah. You're like, you see how fucking great these people are? And so me and my cousin were sitting there one time, and we go steal a bunch of beer from like her uncle or my cousin or something. And we're sitting there beside the couch, and we're honestly drilling out, like sawing out a little hole in the couch so that we could hide the beer in there. And my uncle just looks at us and he's like, yeah, okay, walks away. And they never found out it was us. Like, he said that he stole the beer. And I was like, that's my uncle right there.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Like, there's honestly like good people like that. Meanwhile, like all the like women are bitching like, they're stealing beer, they're doing this, and he's like, no, I fucking took it. I'm like, yes. He thought we were like the coolest things ever. He's like, those are my girls right there. They're doing that. They're jacking your beer and they're drilling a hole in the couch to hide it. Like,
well, I think we all had that uncle, because I had an Uncle Doug that whenever he would come visit from, he was living in Virginia at the time. He lived in Seattle until he passed away. But when I was like 14 years old, he lived in Virginia. He'd come up to visit at my grandparents' house, and he always wanted to hang out in my garage. and he'd bring me out there, and he'd don't tell nobody. We'd be sitting there drinking Bud Ice. He would let me drink Bud Ice, and he'd get me shit-faced fucking drunk. And then we'd walk back into the house, and my grandparents, they knew damn right well I was drunk. But he hit his head. He's all right. He's just got to go lay down.
Good excuse.
Yeah.
I had an aunt like that too. Yeah, like when my dad passed away, she had like this big honking shaggin' wagon type of van, and there, like we all are, my auntie, her husband, my sister, my grandpa was in there, and there we all are, and she's passing around a J, and I take out the liquor, and we're all getting fucked up in the backyard at my mom's house, and what is my mom gonna say, right? When like it's her sister who's getting her nieces fucked up, and like we're all legal age and stuff, so what the hell is my mom gonna do besides bitch that we got fucked up in her backyard? Prove it. Prove it, all right. Like we all stank like real, like a hardcore fucking like kush weed or skank weed, and we're all like staggering around like but it's my dad's funeral, like back the fuck off. Like we needed my aunt there, we needed her to get us fucked up. Like
one of the worst experiences though, going on the conversation we had earlier about borderline child abuse punishments, but we deserved it. 15 years old, Eric, you probably heard this story before. Me and a friend of ours, Tony, and
Tony, that's his name.
Well, I was gonna say his last name, and then I decided, you know what, I'm not gonna throw him under the bus like that.
No.
You know, but me and Tony decided to go under the table with 100 proof absolute vodka. And we were doing it in our buddy Max's 3-foot pool in the middle of summer. So we're hanging out in his pool, drinking vodka straight from the bottle. We killed this fucking bottle. By the end of it, Tony goes to leave, and he passes out in Max's front yard and has to go to the hospital to get his stomach pumped. I somehow make it back over the fence to my house. Get into my house. I have no memory of this, by the way. Into my house, up into my room, in bed. And I used to have long hair at the time. And again, my parents knew what was up. I woke up the next morning, obviously hungover shit, dry heaving. And when I lifted myself and my head off of my pillow, I just watched all my fucking hair hit the pillow. My mother shaved my head while I was passed out drunk and left the hair for me to find.
Yes, sir.
Wow. That was like one epic mom prank. Like, you thought you got away with it. Yeah, okay, you little bastard. Now you have no hair and you're never going to forget it.
By the way, moral of the story, Tony and I both figured I won since I didn't have to go to the hospital.
Oh, you guys had a contest on this?
Oh yeah, it was a drinking contest. Who could handle their alcohol better? You know, we figure I won since I didn't have to get my stomach pumped. But really, neither of us won.
Yeah, no, I think he got the better of the deal getting his stomach pumped as compared to getting his head shaved off.
It's true. And I was egotistical about my hair back then, so it really broke my heart. Waking up and just watching these blonde locks just drop onto my pillow. It's like, what the fuck?
Oh my gosh.
I still attest that's child abuse right there.
I gotta give it to your mom. That is a good one. And you know, like, wow, you lose your hair, so what? Like, your buddy got his stomach pumped. Like, that's the least of your worries right now.
It was a crime. It was a crime.
Oh, it was a good one. Still a crime. Okay, fine, I'll bear with you. If my mom cut my hair off, I'd fucking lose it. But considering the circumstances, I think your mom did a great job.
Well, no, you know, the joking aside, as a 42-year-old man looking back, I probably got off extremely light. She could have just like whooped my ass or thrown me out or, you know, done anything under the sun other than just shave my head and wait for me to find it. Yeah.
Oh, I could just imagine her sitting there like, yep, any moment now. We're going to hear screaming from the bedroom.
But the narcissistic, self-absorbed 15-year-old was like, oh my God, no! Yeah.
She died laughing, guaranteed. Like, she waited all night for that moment. That's good parenting right there, okay?
All right,
like, to do it and have the patience to wait, yeah, you're doing it right.
All right, I shared an embarrassing punishment anecdote, so go ahead, guys. Let's hear some of yours. Don't leave me hanging out in the breeze like this.
I'm putting Eric on the docket here.
You want to put me on the docket?
Yeah, you're next.
Jeez. Let me see.
Put your right hand on the 40-year-old E. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you alcohol?
Oh, God, I can't even touch that now. You made my throat thirsty for it, but I was like, God damn it. I can, but I can only have like a couple sips. So. Oh, Jesus. God, what did I do? I mean, I can't. Whoa.
You can always change the name.
A lot of them, eh?
I wasn't a troublemaker. I would say back in the 5th grade, I used to get bullied a lot. And I guess at that time, we'd get our lunch money taken. So me and a couple of classmates, we decided to form a group called the A-Team. And what we started doing is we go after the kids that were taking our lunch money. But this time, we took them 4 of us, one of them to corner them and say, hey, we want our lunch money back. And we said, if you say anything to anybody else, we're going to get you later. And we're all in class laughing and giggling. And we get a phone, the classroom phone rings. And the teacher turns around and she's like, I need Eric, Ken, and 2 of the other kids that they died. So it's just me and Kenny left. But they're like, we were like the group called the A-Team to report to the principal's office. And oh my God, I thought we were going to get in so much trouble. If it wasn't for Kenny, he was like, why would we be calling ourselves the A-Team? And, we had to tell the other 2 guys, all 4 of us now, no teacher walked us down to the principal's office. So we got our story straight and we were on point. Let me just tell you something. He's like, listen, guys, the principal was like, is it you guys that are doing this? We're like, no, why would we? It's not us. Come on now. I was like, look at us. I'm 4'2". I was like, you think I'm going to handle a kid that's taller than me? Really? Yeah, we were there. God, those days were fun.
You're a hellion.
Nowadays, you can't even do that anymore because they're just so more strict at school. It's like you're living in prison.
Well, look.
Now you got.
You're bringing up an extremely good point because look at our group back in the day. I know you came into the group when we were already 18 and above. But the high school crowd that I ran with, which was Tony, Joe, Nate, and a couple others, we were damn near a gang, but we weren't a gang. You know what I mean? We were the gang in the sense of the Scooby Gang or the Archie Gang. You know what I mean? In the sense of just a group of friends that were always around each other. Nowadays, you have a group of friends that are all around each other. 9 times out of 10, they're fucking MS-13. They're a gang. Yeah, they're out causing trouble where we were out just getting drunk and being stupid to each other. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the one time that as a child that I got in trouble, but it was probably deserving, and the level of trouble I got into was unbelievable because I'm like, man, I'm gonna be killed today. But so I was in my backyard. My parents had this blow up pool. And you guys know, blow up pools are like they're plastic and they're easy to pop and stuff and whatnot. And this boy from across the courtyard comes over and he's telling me, what did he have in his hand? I think he had like a knife or something. And he's telling me that he's going to stab my pool and rip it apart. So, and he's going to hurt my sisters. And my sisters are like 2-3 years younger than me, and I was probably like 5 or 6. So I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, and I grabbed the hose because I was filling up the pool, and I started swinging it. And I'm like, motherfucker. Yes, I had a bad mouth. Yes, I grew up on Xena and X-Files. And yes, my parents like loved watching like wrestling and stuff like that. You learn to have a potty mouth. And especially with an older brother who's like into like satanic rap stuff and whatnot, like you learn a lot of bad words. So I'm swinging it around like from side to side. And I'm like, if you touch my pool or touch my sisters, I was like, I'm going to kick your fucking ass. I will fucking hurt you with this hose. And he's like, no, you won't. And he's getting closer and closer. And he's like jabbing this knife like towards me and shit. And I'm like, take one more fucking step and you're going to get it. So he's all like a little cocky piece of shit, like my age, swings this stuff, like, and stabs at me again. So I swing this hose, whack, right across the fucking chest. He had a huge mark from shoulder to hip. And he goes and tells his mom. And the police got involved in everything. Like, this kid's mom called the police on me. And so, like, I was like, that's it, man. I'm going to jail. I'm so going to jail. And I was like 6 years old, not knowing I can't go to jail, right? And so the cop was like, okay, well, you little prick. He's like, stay in your own fucking yard. And he's like, you, talking to me, he's like, and you, stop beating up the boys. And I was like, that's it? And he's like, yeah, if someone threatened my little sisters, I would have whipped him too. And I was like, wow. But I was still grounded for like a week. I wasn't allowed to leave my yard, but I guess I deserved that because, you know, the cops got called, which was pretty extravagant, but that's about it.
Is Brian muted? Like, I don't know if you guys can see that on the Skype thing as I can.
No, Kirsty came in for a second. I was muting it real quick.
Oh, okay. All I saw was this little mute microphone with the cross in it on his little icon. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
No, Kirsty came in. She didn't know I was recording.
Oh, okay. She gave me a good ass chewing on Facebook the other day.
It's hormones.
Oh, I forget what it was I shared.
It was the Firefly thing.
It was the Firefly thing. It was an April Fool's joke about a second season of Firefly.
I saw it today. It made it made a shiver run down my fucking back.
Oh, you saw the response, man.
Yeah.
She laid into
I
me.
saw that. You don't fuck with her in Firefly, dude. She lives and breathes Firefly.
She even whipped out the fucking pretty flower bonnet on me.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, no, you don't fuck with her.
And another show I've never seen a single episode of.
Well, there's only like 13 of them. You could watch that. It's one season. Which is a true crime to humanity that Firefly never went beyond one season. But regardless of which, we were having the conversation. I didn't want to go off track, but since we had you back on and you mentioned Kirsty, I just had to mention that. So Brian, how about your horror stories? Let's hear some of your crimes and punishment.
Something embarrassing too?
Sure. I know you got a couple of them. Come on, farm boy.
It's hard to pinpoint.
There's foot and mouth right there.
Come on, Ginger. I know you got caught fucking an ostrich.
Ginger? Damn, I think somebody finally started watching fucking Letterkenny.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I'm 3 episodes in, and quite honestly, I feel like I've lost 75 IQ points.
So you're in the negatives.
Yeah, very much so.
Gotcha. Let's see. I don't fucking know.
That's a hard no.
I know. Okay, so this is a simple story. I didn't get in trouble a whole lot. And if I did, I guess it's just repressed and I just tried to forget about it. So there, you know when you were a kid and you were in the grocery store, your parents couldn't spank you in public. And they always looked at you like, when we get home, I'm beating your ass. You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit. And then part of you is like, oh, I really hope they fucking forget. Which once in a while they forgot, you know? But this one time in particular, I could tell from the look in my dad's eye, he was not going to fucking forget. He was pissed. And I was dreading it all the way home, and I knew he didn't forget it either, because he's like, you just wait till we get home. I'm like, God damn it, why you gotta fucking set a reminder and shit? God damn. So we got home, and on the way home, I had this fucking, I thought, brilliant idea. And we got home, and my mom and dad always unloaded the groceries first when some shit like this was going down. So I ran to my bedroom. I had about 6 minutes. I knew I had about 6 minutes. I took my pants off, and I put on every pair of underwear I had in my dresser. and I put my jeans back on. And I was like, oh God, here we go. Yeah, I ain't going to feel this one. Ha, ha, ha. So then I hear, all right, Brian, come in here. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Fuck yeah, he's not even going to know. And he's like, you know what you did? Come here. And he bends me over, and he took 2 swats. And he said, instead of hearing the, like you're supposed to, it was more like a, you know. and he goes, whoa, what the hell? And he's like, wait a second. And he pulls my pants down, and I'm wearing like 13, 14 pairs of underwear. He's like, no, you're going to go take those off. And I still got the ass whooping, but I found out years later that after I walked out of the room, he fucking lost it laughing.
Now, see, there's 2 reasons I wanted to bring up this conversation. That's why I wanted everybody to give a little, like, an embarrassing anecdote with the repercussions, the consequences. Is that we were all little shits at one point in our life, you know. And of course, our parents gave us, reprimand for it, whether it be physical or some sort of embarrassment or something of that nature, which nowadays would be constituted as child abuse. But back then it was normal punishment. It was normal correction. The point that I wanted to bring is, you notice that all of us, jokes aside a minute here, all of us are functioning members of society who have a healthy fear and respect of authority. That's the major difference to the shit.
Fuck the police.
That's what I was gonna say. Fuck the police.
which is the major difference between us and what we were talking about earlier with, like, them girls and everything else. They don't have a fear of an authority figure, be it police, be it their parents, or whatever the case may be, because they're allowed to run wild and control every aspect when they're. You know what? I question whether I was ready for adulthood at 18 years old. You know, and we're supposed to take, and a 5-year-old is supposed to tell me what gender they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm raising my kids like, you're a boy, you're a boy, you're a girl. If you want to be a girl later on, or if you want to be a bumblebee for a day, I support that shit. But until you honestly, like, have made up your mind, and I know that you can handle the choices you're going to make, because once you cut off your penis, you don't get it back. So that's a serious. Your liver. Yeah, you know, you could chop off part of that and you'll be fine. You know, you can lose a kidney. You know, you can lose an eyeball and you'll still be fine. But if you chop off your penis, it doesn't come back. Like, people used to tell me when I was a teenager, if you get a tattoo, it doesn't go away. Well, okay, because if you really. Yeah, it doesn't go away. So, like, I mean, like, lots of parents used to, like, encourage their children who wanted tattoos to start off with piercings. And if they could commit to keeping a piercing and keeping it clean for all that long, and, you know, the pain that they're going to endure and stuff, then they would think about letting their kids get tattoos. Like, some parents, not all, hardly any of them, but a few of them did. And so it's like, well, kids, if you want to go chop off your penis or something, why don't you start with a piercing? Like, you know, get your belly button pierced. It's the worst place to get a piercing. Get your belly button pierced, okay? If you can stand having that done for however long, if you want to take it out, guess what? The hole closes up. You're not going to be stuck with that for the rest of your life. Now, if you can actually, like, maintain that and whatever, in a year from now, yeah, we'll think about getting you a tattoo. And in the process, you know, we'll think about chopping off your penis if that's what you really want to do. But, you like, show the commitment to yourself. Well, not to me, but to yourself.
Well,
like,
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Should that be the test for sexual reassignment? Like, you want to become a woman? First, get a Jacob's ladder. If you could tolerate that, then we'll talk about giving you the banana split in the tuck.
Well, it's like a small thing, and like you can easily take out the piercing. You can't put you cannot put a body part back once it's gone. So it's like slow things. Like if you really want to do it, okay, well, like let's test it out. Like I'm not opposed to my children like experimenting with anything. Well, pretty much. I mean, I do have limits there too, but I'm not opposed to them experimenting, especially with their own bodies and their own selves, especially when they're teenagers. Like who didn't like experiment sexually and be rebellious and stuff. But what if it's just a rebellious phase they're going through and then they're stuck with that for the rest of their life?
Every single motherfucker in this chat has tried to go down on themselves at least once in their life. They failed miserably because none of us are that flexible, but we all tried once.
Speak for yourself. I didn't fail.
Jesus Christ.
That's what Mom said when she ran in the room.
But like kids are going to experiment, and you can't just tell a kid no right off the bat, because you know what, a kid's gonna rebel and say, you know what, my parents are just being assholes, so I'm gonna go do it anyways. Well, no, if you work with them and okay, slowly, we'll gradually get up to that. Let's start with something small, and you know what, if you can keep that and you still feel the same way afterwards, then we'll go with step 2. Okay, we'll go something bigger. But in 2 years' time, if you change your mind, you might be stuck with a cute little tattoo, and you can take out your piercing, but at least for sure that's what you want, because surgery is a big thing too. You've got the cleaning, you've got the painful areas for a while, you've got all that stuff you have to deal with. If you can't deal with your fucking navel pierced, I don't think you're ready.
I still say a Jacob's ladder, which for people who don't know what that is, a Jacob's ladder is getting the underside of your penis pierced. But the reason it's called a Jacob's ladder is you get 4 or 5 of them in the underside of the penis, so it's like runs of a ladder.
So you work up gradually. It's like if you could deal with that, okay, you'll have a pretty penis for a while, and
you'll jingle when you walk.
Yeah, exactly. You can work up to it. Please don't commit yourself to this right away. It's you may regret it later on in life. It's a parent's job to be look, think about the consequences. Think about what could happen. Here's a little taste test.
I know we're talking about penis piercings. I don't know why Chris had to bring up the ladder, but I knew a guy when I worked in the warehouse who got his penis done. And he said the worst part is when you're peeing out of 3 holes. And I said, what the hell are you talking about? He's like, oh, I got my penis done. I said, doesn't that freaking hurt? He's like, for a little. Yeah, man, you must have high tolerance for pain. I was like, I'll never get that pierced.
Well, look, I knew a wrestler who had a Jacob's ladder. That's the only reason I knew about it. And I never physically saw it, but I knew he had it because every time he walked, I'm not joking, when you heard him jingle. The balls of the piercings would fucking clank against each other when he walked, and you could hear it, and it was fucking weird as shit. And he told me the worst part about it is you have to take a Viagra because you have to remain hard through the whole entire process.
Oh my god.
You can't pierce a flaccid penis. It has to be erect.
Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome for the anatomy class on piercing genitalia.
The longest silence break I think we've ever had on this show.
Well, you learn something new every day.
That's it.
There you go.
But I mean, that was the first part of it, is that it shows that you can be well adjusted and a productive member of society, even if your parents were strict, or that you were taught to have some form of respect of consequences, that every action has a consequence, and that if you have to face those consequences, whatever they may be. And that's what's not being taught to these little shitheads today. That's why we're having so many problems. Why is crime on an all-time high? Why are fucking people pretending to be fire trucks and claiming that's their fucking sexual gender? And because they never had their parents tell them no.
Exactly. Or, start with something smaller. I know, it takes time to get there, but that whole time you may change your mind. Like it's pretty simple. Small.
What's smaller than saying no?
Oh, like small commitments, like in my opinion, if a kid is convinced, like I'm definitely like a fucking flamingo. Well, okay. Where do we start here? Okay, you know what? We'll give it a couple weeks, and if you still think you're a flamingo, we'll tar and feather you, and you could be a flamingo.
Tie some sticks to your feet and paint you pink and stick you out in the front of your lawn. There, you're a pink flamingo.
I'm all for it, if they actually like believe that for that long. I mean, well, why not do something stupid? We all did dumb stuff when we were kids. Like, why not do it when you're a kid and you could be like, yeah, you know what? My mom was right. Glad I waited, or glad I didn't do that because my buddy did that and his skin peeled, and now he is a pink flamingo.
Jesus Christ. He's got that plastic sheen too.
Right?
But
yeah.
God.
But the other thing too is that there is a difference between correction or consequences and abuse. And just like we on these shows, especially Realm Limits Podcast, and it had to be said, we've had these conversations numerous times about words that are getting overused, like racist.
Nazi. Is
so overused that it will no longer have the meaning it used to have. The same as Nazi. It no longer means what it used to have. And that's a shame, because these words are evil words that represented something that was reprehensible. But it's been so overly used for the simplest and stupidest of things that it no longer has that power and that meaning. Well, the same thing goes for abuse. Because, just because somebody raised their voice at you is not abuse. Just because your parents fucking, made you stand in a corner for misbehavior, that's not abuse.
No.
That's
a fortunate consequence.
I mean, when you enforce a punishment, the punishment's got to equal what they did wrong. And when I mean, I say this now, but when my ex-wife makes the kids do these, I believe, someone would have thought maybe her kids, but hit them 13 times for something that they did was so minor. I felt like that was uncalled for, to beat him like 13 times with a belt.
Well, you have to show some self-control. I mean, you can't. As the disciplinarian, that was the word I kept looking for that I was stumbling on. Discipline. But as the disciplinarian, you have to have self-control. You can't be in the heat of the moment when you're dishing out that punishment. One of the smartest things, like Brian said, like with his dad when he was telling us the little anecdote about the 13 pairs of underwear, was that the dad had a moment the whole ride home waiting for Brian to come downstairs, waiting for Brian to come back downstairs after taking off 13 pairs of underwear. He had that time to cool his jets to where his discipline should have reflected the offense.
Right.
Now, had he not allowed that time to clear his head and get control of his facilities, Brian may have gotten it worse, because now he's just acting in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
And that's the big key as the disciplinarian, is knowing the difference between you're correcting a problem and you just let your fucking anger get the best of you.
Yeah. No. Parents really have to control their shit, but they really have to control their children. And if it's like a small, like people don't understand the difference between discipline and, like being overboard and like abuse. Discipline could be anything from like taking your kid's toy away. Discipline could be anything from bed early, or, simple things like that. Like, it doesn't have to be physical punishment on a kid.
Look, I think that getting punched as a kid, if our normal bedtime is 8 o'clock, I think 7 o'clock, I think I got sent to bed a couple times. and I used to get mad. But like my mom and my stepdad said to me, you know, it's like you always seem to get yourself in trouble on a night that your show comes on, and now you're going to miss it. You know, because when we were about 10, 11, 12, our good shows come on at 8 o'clock. But, you know, those nights I got myself in trouble as a kid, I had to miss it. And there was no DVR, so you missed it, you missed it.
And everybody's talking about it tomorrow, and then you're not one of the cool kids.
I just went to bed early. I felt.
Well, here's another key thing, like you guys are talking about, where discipline can be something along the lines of being grounded or sent to bed early, or for this example here, you get a punishment of like no video games for a week. Okay, for this example. Another key for parents, if you want to have this punishment work for behavioral correction, you have to stick to what you say. If you say they're not allowed to touch their system for 1 week, you can't turn around and say, well, because they behaved yesterday, I'll let them slide. No, you got to make it stick 1 week. And I say this especially for people who are in like my situation or like Eric's situation, where you're splitting time with another parent. This is extremely important. I want everybody out there to listen to what I'm about to say right now, because it's probably the only time you'll hear me say something complimentary to about my ex-wife.
Oh my God. Hell just froze over.
We are not in sync with anything under the sun, with the exception of if she grounds my child for something and it's my weekend to get them, and she tells me what that punishment is, that punishment carries over to my house, and I will not break that punishment. And I assume it works the other way. If they misbehaved with me during that weekend and I go home and I tell mom about it and what I did as punishment, that carries over. You have to stick to it. And as parents, whether you're divorced or otherwise, you have to work together in that aspect, or else the punishment is just a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, my kid's dad was like that too. I would punish my son for something, and he would cry, and he'd be upset about it, and he'd be like, I'm going to dad's. And it's like, no, you're not going to dad's. Guess what? Your dad's not going to punish you. You're staying here for your whole punishment. That's the rules. And he used to hate that because it's like, well, my dad doesn't give me punishments. My dad doesn't give me chores. My dad doesn't do this. My dad doesn't do that. Well, then, you're not going to your dad's, and you're not getting away with this shit.
See, that again, that goes back to it. It sucks for the dad who I know your particular situation, but, you know, for this example, it sucks that the dad's losing time in this. But
no, he still got half the time.
But
we were working it out half, but if they're punished, like, they're not going over because you're not going to give them their punishments, and I'm not taking that shit. Like, if you punish them, yeah, they get their punishment here too, but you don't follow through with it, so they're gonna stay here for the duration of it.
Well, that was my point. The dad has to step up, and it's like, look, if your mother tells me you're grounded from your cell phone for 2 weeks, as soon as you're in my custody, my possession, hand that fucking phone over. As a matter of fact, give it to your mother so she can stay here with her.
Yeah, see, he wouldn't follow through with that. Even now, he gets grounded from YouTube because he watched videos with swears, and if he gets caught, it's supposed to be a mandatory 1 week without his tablet. But he goes and watches YouTube videos in his room. His dad doesn't even look at what he's watching, and if he gets caught, the week turns into a weekend without it, because he'd rather have him shut up and in his room while he's with his girlfriend than actually parenting him.
See, annoying my parents when I was grounded usually consisted like this. I didn't get grounded. I got what they called restriction. Restriction was 2 weeks to a month. I would not have anything but my school books, and I was up in my room, except for like bathroom or dinner. Now, you think, okay, no problem. The kids nowadays, they got TVs, they got radios, they got whatever. Now, when I came home from school, my room was emptied of everything but my clothes, my bed, and my school books. Everything else was locked in the basement. And I mean padlocked for that duration of time. Now, here's how the punishments went. Sometimes they would let me come down and I could join the family in the living room and watch whatever they were watching. God forbid I make a peep. Because if I annoyed them one time, that was an additional week to that punishment.
See, though, I find oh my God, like I've heard my kid's dad and his girlfriend punish their kids because they're being annoying. They get things taken away because they're being annoying. They get reprimanded and yelled at because they're being annoying. Well, fucking parent them. Fucking do something with them. Your kid, like, her kids are like 5 and 6, and my kids are like 8 and 9. Why are they being annoying? You guys are ignoring them. You're leaving 3 boys all alone by themselves. What do you think is going to happen with 3 boys? They're going to fight. They're going to be loud. They're going to be rowdy. That's what boys do. But you're not even, like, they don't spend time with them. It's like, here's the TV, and we're going to be in the kitchen hiding, and don't bother us.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, Brian, you've been awfully quiet. You've been awfully quiet right now. Am I wrong in that aspect? I mean, when I was restricted, when I was under my restrictions, say 30 days for the sake of argument, it was a privilege that they gave me to even watch Wheel of Fortune with them.
Oh yeah.
So, but
yeah, you pretty much stayed in your room and pretended like you didn't fucking exist.
Right, and it's not like when I was in my room, if I was being annoying or whatever, that would give the extra week or something. It was because they were allowing me a privilege, and I was trying to take advantage of it. That's when it was turn around and say, all right, little shit, not only are you going back to your room, but now you got an additional week for it.
Right.
You know, you looked a gift horse in the mouth. Like, there was consequences to my consequences.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, am I wrong in this? That back then I thought it was the cruelest fucking thing under the sun, but now as an adult, really, I don't see anything improper about that in any way, shape, or form.
No, I don't either. I don't see anything wrong with it.
No, I've done that to my kids too. Like, you know, you've lost this or something. But, you know, you're still part of the family. You lost your privilege to be in a room alone and do whatever. You're still part of the family. You can still do family stuff with the family. You don't lose that. You lose your special privileges. And your special privilege was being alone in your room with your tablet, whatever. Like, my son likes his alone time. He likes it quiet. So if it's being too rowdy, like, he likes to go in his room, which is fine. But, you know, like, he's on a YouTube account. That's through my YouTube account, so I can go look back on all his YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
Once you've broken the rules, and you know you weren't responsible, you lose it.
Mm-hmm.
But as for everything else, you know, you of course you're invited to, you know, come have popcorn on a Friday night while we watch a movie or something. Yes, but you're not getting that back. You're not going to get punished for just being a kid. I don't even think parents mostly know what's punish worthy and what's not punish worthy, because kids running around and screaming, you know, with a bunch of other kids, yeah, they're going to do that. Like, you don't need to punish them because you're too fucking lazy or too busy getting high or drinking to fucking parent them. You're the one who should be punished, not the kids.
Again, I will say it from gate. I would rather my children be pissed off at me their whole entire lives because I was too quote unquote strict or too hard on them, and them grow up to be productive members of society, than to be lax and one of these little shitheads, raising one of these little shitheads like you see running around nowadays, and then spending their adult life visiting them from a fucking 6-inch piece of glass in a prison cell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a time and place for everything, though. You know, you're in public, you behave. You're at home and you have kids over, you have friends over. Obviously, you're going to act like a kid. And like parents should expect that, and they should respect that as well. Like, what do you think is going to happen? But you know what? If they act like well behaved in public, you're fucking lucky as all fuck that they only yell at home or with their friends.
So that's just, you know, that's my 2 cents on it, you know, like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how we got so serious on this show, but that, yeah. It's something that I say every day. You know, I walk into a restaurant and see kids running around the restaurant. Oh my God. Like, all of you, I'll ask all of you, have you ever been allowed to just get out of the booth or get out of the chair and just annoy other people in a restaurant as a child? Or would your parents have fucking straight up gripped you by your belt buckle, walked your happy ass to the car, and fucking giving you like a 20-minute lashing, not caring that your food's getting cold? You know, for not only embarrassing the family, but acting like a wild animal.
I've made my kids sit there screaming and yelling over dinner. Like he didn't, like he was running around and, you know, like acting up and stuff. But I honestly stuck him in a corner at the booth and, you know, put my legs up around him. He had his little fit and he wasn't going anywhere. And he got the hint that mom wasn't going to lose eating her meal because he was acting up. He honestly had to sit there, and I'm like, you do realize people are looking at you, right? Which pissed him off even more, and then it embarrassed him, and then he would slowly start marching up. And it took years to finally get him to stop doing that. But he wasn't throwing his food. He wasn't doing anything like that. Like I had my arm down in front of him, like if he was going to grab something to throw it in a rage. But you know what? I had other people looking at me, and it's like, you know what? If I don't take him out and, like, you know, force him to have to sit there through a meal, he's not going to learn how to do it.
No, you're right, but I'm saying, like, you know, our parents would have disciplined us if we even attempted it. But you see these people doing it every day. You go into any restaurant and you see this shit all the time. Just these wild, out of control kids, and the parents are too busy fucking eating their meals or fucking with their phones or whatever. They're not even paying attention to it. I'm saying it straight out to you, each and every one of you. I don't care if it's IHOP or fucking Longhorn Steakhouse. Control your little fucking cum bubble.
You know, if you have to be like look like the embarrassed parent, but you actually look like the tentative parent, and you look like the disciplinary parent who's like not having that shit, like it's understandable that kids are going to act up. But if you let them do it, that's a different story. But now, like, if you were like trying what I was doing, like I've had friends that would just let their kids do whatever, and it's like, you know what, control your child. Like, oh, well, he's going to scream even more. And I'm like, yeah, well, guess what? There he is at other people's tables, grabbing their shit, and you could just sit him down, grab a booster seat from your car, strap him down in it, and you know what? He can't go anywhere. So, like, you're really going to make other people suffer because you're not going to do your job.
That's exactly it. I mean, Eric, Brian, are we wrong here?
No.
No,
I'm kind of pissed that they made it illegal in Kansas to trip a kid running through a restaurant. They just made that illegal like a month ago, and I'm pretty pissed off about it because more than once, you know, there's one restaurant in particular that Kirsty and I and our friends like to go to. It's called Hoo Hot. It's a Mongolian place, but for some reason it just attracts every fucking welfare family that just lets their kid fucking run around just whatever, and there's been more than once where a kid's been running around our table and like part of me just wants to backhand this motherfucker because their parent is just like over there just watching like, oh, he's cute. He's about to be. and you know, it's just, oh my God. And I've seen people trip kids in this restaurant and it brings my heart so much joy. And, you know, now they've made it illegal. It pisses me off because I'll trip my own goddamn kid. I don't give a fuck.
See, I would do that too. And with 5 years of like training my child how to be a proper gentleman in public, how to be like treat people with respect in public and whatever, like he can order his own food. Excuse me, miss. Yes, I'll have the and whatever. Please and thank you. And I'm like, yes. All these years of you kicking and screaming and, you know, boot fucking me in the face while I'm eating, but I didn't give a shit. And you know what? You had to sit through it. look at you now. Look at you now. I'm so proud of you. All these other kids don't even know how to like go up to a cash and be like a cash register or like McDonald's or something and be like, oh, I'll have a Happy Meal, please. He does it perfectly. He's even taken my order. And my mother over here, she would like this. And I'm like, oh yes, success.
How about you, Eric? How many times have you almost punted somebody's little football?
All right.
Okay, he's done it.
Yeah.
He's getting ready to go. All right, y'all, don't judge me.
So there I was. It was 4th and long.
Listen, the worst thing is when you're sitting there and it's annoying as hell. And the parents next to me, they're telling their kid, get off your phone and go get and go to the garage. They're like, go get your food. The kid is sitting there on his phone playing. My philosophy is we go out to eat, put your phone down, go get your food, come back and eat. I don't get it. They're so glued to the phone. They don't know how to put it down.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're paying for $13 for a plate at Golden Corral, you know what I mean? I mean, there's been other places. But back in the day, when we went out to eat, our parents said, you go in, get our food, you eat, behave. You know, because like I tell my kids, we go into this restaurant, you act up and anything like that, and you embarrass me, let me just tell you what. When you get home, we're going to have that's the problem.
I knew that when you get home part was coming.
Oh, yeah. Oh, listen, my kid could be 18 years old, and I don't care. I will whip his ass. That's how I am.
I've said
he's so cute. That's what I was like, yeah, try living with him.
I said that to my 22-year-old. You still ain't too big for me to put over my knee.
Well, you remember my stepchildren, Brandon and Jordan. You know what I mean?
I remember Jordan. Highly disappointed in his actions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was gone he could have went somewhere in life and did it again. And on top of it, he just got done off of just getting in trouble, just to get back on trouble again, and that ended his band career, being in band.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
well, we don't want to go into detail, you know, because of the situation. But I know the kid he's talking about, and actually of the children that were his ex-wife's kids, Jordan was quite honestly, I won't lie, you're not supposed to have favorites, but he was my favorite because I actually saw a lot of myself in him, like the anger issues and some of the awkwardness that I knew about the kid. So I really, really wanted to see him succeed. It was so heartbreaking, the roads he's traveled.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know.
You could have had a good life.
He has a, listen, and I'd be honest as anything. The last thing he did, he's lucky that the judge gave him a slap on the wrist and understands where he's coming from. And I said, if that was me as the judge, I would have threw the book at him. How's he going to learn something? He just got a major break. Now let's see if he does it right this time. Because you know what I mean? These kids got to understand something. There's laws for a reason. There's a reason why you go take the test to get your permit or get your driver's license. You know? Like he didn't have a care in the world. You know, he had driving under the influence. I mean, he had so many charges that they threw all of that away. I said, you got man, are so lucky that guy upstairs in the sky just saved your rear end again. And hopefully you go the right direction. I feel bad because I really thought that when I was going to be in trouble, Well, could be Brandon get in trouble and everything like that? It's the total opposite. The younger brother. You know? Listen, I don't have a problem with them smoking marijuana. I don't. Because you can't tell a kid no to doing something if you were doing it yourself at one time when you were young.
Yeah, it's a little hypocritical.
Right. So like I said to them, I don't care if you do it. Just don't come to my house under the influence. That's all I ask them.
See, I'll half agree, half disagree with you. I'll half agree it's hard to discipline somebody on something that you did yourself. But the difference is like when you and I were partaking of substances like that, we held ourselves in check. These people nowadays, that's all they fucking think about. Like, it consumes their life. I don't want to use the word addicted, but it's like they're addicted to the fact that they want to be that guy who is consistently high and talking about pot and everything else, that they forget about everything else about functioning society.
Well, look at their role models, too.
Well, that's exactly it. You know, back in our day, we'd smoke a joint to hang out with each other. We'd get high for fucking, 2 hours? It'd wear off. We'd eat a Twinkie, go to sleep, get up, and we'd go to fucking work. These kids nowadays, all they think about is getting up, smoking, and continue smoking till they go to bed. And they don't care about anything else in between. It's not worth it if they can't smoke while they're doing it.
You guys got to remember, Chris, after we got done smoking and we would order from the pizza place around the corner, and you guys be looking at me like, Eric, what are you getting tonight? I'm like, well, I'm going to get myself a cheesesteak or fried onions and pepperoni and mushrooms on it. Let me get an order of mozzarella sticks. And they're all looking at me like, he's still ordering. And I was like, and a large pizza with extra cheese and pepperoni. And I said, and I would turn around to Chris and everybody else was like, does anybody in this room like anchovies? And they're like, no. I was like, all right, well, good. Can I have an order of anchovies on the pizza too?
Dude, you used to piss all of us off on that too, because we'd all be sitting there with the munchies, and your ass would order anchovies. And then just sit there and munch away at it while the rest of us are sitting there like fucking starving Marvin and shit, like cotton mouth and everything, just sitting there like
I could eat my ass off.
Like this motherfucker right here is pulling the fucking like you ever see the Jackass episode where he's like fucking painting his face with the powdered donuts and shit? Like that was Eric with the food while the rest of us are high. He's just sitting there like grease from the cheesesteak going down his neck and
shit. Wow.
And we're all sitting there like, God damn it, can we have a crumb? One slice with the fucking little fish you taking off.
Yeah, remember our order. I was like, who's got money? Who wanted to order? I was like, I know I got my money. God, our bill was always $100. That guy loved the $20 tip given. Still, you bring $100 worth of food to the apartment all the time. Who's got the money?
But again, it was a weekend thing, or it was when nothing important was going on thing. That's when we did. Even when we cut school, it was during the time that we were not at the house, not at our jobs, not in the school. You know, we functioned as normal human beings, and then we played. You know, or partaked, if you will. These kids nowadays, they look at it as if I can't function while partaking, then I'm not going to function because I'd rather partake.
I just don't understand why some of these kids go to high school and they're already under the influence. Like they smoke before they go to school and they're in class. I was like, dude, are you that stupid?
Dude, I remember, I don't get how they do that nowadays. And I know the weed's supposed to be stronger today than what you and I smoked back in the day, dude. But I remember getting high. I was a hippie stoner. I really was. I would have to be out in Pennypack Park, out in the woods in nature getting high. Because I remember this one time we all got the munchies. I just got done getting high and decided that we wanted hot dogs. We wanted to fucking grill hot dogs over an open fire. And somehow I got volunteered to go get a fucking, a pack of hot dogs and hot dog buns from the closest store, which was a holiday food market. So I collected up the money. I went to go get the food and shit like that. And as soon as I walked into the supermarket, like paranoia hit. You know what I mean? Like, all the electronic and the noise and the sounds and shit just fucked with me so hard, dude. I'm, oh my God, I got to get the fuck out of here. Like the walls were closing. I had to get back into nature. How the fuck do you get stoned and go to school? Okay, sit in the classroom in desks in a row, staring at a teacher that you know knows.
Because you can't get in trouble for it anymore.
Jesus
like,
Christ, no.
Back in the day, like, I'm pretty sure, like, it would be like, well, we're calling your parents, we're calling the police, and we're doing this, we're doing that, and now they're just like, well, Billy's high again, kids. Like, yeah, that's about it. So,
well, nowadays you got police officers that patrol the schools, like they're actually in there, but that don't even stop these kids. I mean,
because it's not illegal to be high; it's illegal to have drugs on you. So if you're high or if you smoke before you go to school, you're not going to be in trouble. So kids knowing the law know this. So if they're like, well, we got all this weed to smoke before we get to class, guys, they get it done and they go to class. Like, maybe they're not the most productive, but I mean, they're in class. They're not skipping class to do it. They're not getting caught with drugs. So it's not actually illegal. So they got the gray area there.
You know what? I have always argued back when I was in school. And, you know, I cut way too much school. And, you know, you get your report card and you'd have all straight Fs, which didn't bother me. I know I wasn't there to do the work. But the behavioral parts of the thing, you know, like, we got the grades were all Fs, and then next to it for the class, you would see behavioral, and, like, 1 was exceptional, 2 was satisfactory, 3 was unacceptable. How the fuck did I get 3s all the way through? I wasn't there to be disruptive. I should be a 1 all the way down.
Yeah, well, the school system's a little fucked.
Like I said, you wasn't participating in class today. Well, how are you supposed to participate if you're absent?
And you still got participation points.
I can still get a trophy now.
Well, it's been fun, guys, but I think we'll wrap up till next week.
Now, remember, kids, don't do drugs.
If you do, make sure you do them and don't get caught with the drugs.
Don't do drugs. Don't do drugs and control your fucking cum bubbles.
Yep. Well, that's it for It Had to Be Said with Venus this week. Thank you, Christopher Stahl, for joining us.
You can find me. You can find me anywhere there's Realm of the Mist Entertainment. Just go ahead and check out our YouTube page. If you like this video in any capacity, hit that thumbs up button, like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, check us out on Anchor.fm, where you can hear this great podcast as well as Realm of the Mist podcast, War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast with John Martoli, which will be happening tomorrow night, and of course many of our other great quality programs. And also, please, while you're there, check out the support button for Anchor, or even visit us on our Patreon page. Every dollar helps. We want to save up the money to get a new pair of knee pads for AOC, so that way she can get a second term as a congresswoman.
Thank you, Chris. And Derek, what about you?
Well, a lot of you guys can reach me on Facebook at Batista1435 at yahoo.com.
And where's Brian Miller?
I'm still here. You guys can find me at the Star Wars Canon Podcast. Here in about 10 minutes, you'll be able to find me in bed.
Fair enough.
You call it stalking.
I can see it now. I'm going to be just about to doze off, and I'm going to hear some weird breathing noises, and I'm going to look out my window and see Chris just poking his eyes over my window. Oh, God.
I love person.
You. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. You can find me on Facebook at Venus Uncensored or Solar Nova, depending on if I'm banned that week. You can find me on Instagram, Venus Uncensored. Email me at venusuncensored@gmail.com. And I'll be back on Monday for Realm of the Mist.
Right on, guys. Thank you very much, and have yourself a wonderful evening.
Bye-bye.